ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः। यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियैः कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते। नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः। यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनः। तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर। Okay. So till now we deviated little to get some clarity about what is karma, and there we saw nishiddha karma, prayaschitta karma, kamya karma, nishkama karma, naimittika karma, nitya karma, niyata karma, and panchamaha yajnas: deva yajnah, pitru yajnah, rishi yajnah, manushya yajnah, and bhuta yajnah. And last time there were few points which were mentioned about manushya yajna, bhuta yajna and all. This could have invoked certain disturbances, invoked certain doubts within you all, especially some of the examples which are given. But all this need to be seen from the contextual perspective and not from the recipient perspective. Please understand, whenever we refer to all these dharma related, or it is always from the doer's perspective. Whether the doer is dharmika, adharmika, or whether it is always from the doer's perspective and not from the recipient's perspective. Why? The recipient's perspective is beyond the scope of the doer to understand. For example, if I give you something, I do not know how you are going to respond or react to that. It is purely your choice and your will. But when I'm doing something, I will always look at it from the perspective of the doer, whether I'm doing it dharmic. Okay. And when I'm doing it dharmic, I'm doing it in an appropriate way, whether the recipient will get the right message or the right things. These things I can consider from the doer's perspective, never from the recipient's perspective. And hence, this question, especially of this driver and the food, many people will have that idea that, okay, isn't it better to give money to that person and let that person have whatever he wants? In that option, there is nothing called a samabhava from my end. I'm just giving off something for the services paid, and that's it, and I'm moving out. So I'm neither doing dharma or adharma. But in the example where I've given is, I'm looking at it from a dharmika perspective that samabhava, he is also a human being, he also, okay, taratamyam will be there, but that main, he is a person who has to be respected, is completely taken care. If someone says that it would be much good for him to give the money and then he can decide what he wants, that is his perspective. There is no dharma coming in me then. I'm neither doing dharma or adharma, and there is no question of punya papa. Are you able to get? And there is neither a bondage or a binding in this. Please understand that. And hence, the contextual meaning of niyata karma is, it is not only me, it is purification of mind, at the same time benefiting others, which in the dharmic way will benefit, although the other person may not acknowledge that it benefits. Because whether the person acknowledges or not, it purely depends upon that person's intellect, that person's knowledge of what that person values as beneficial or not. Okay, like for example, when the mother tells the child, don't eat vada pav. Now, from the child's perspective, it may not be desirable. But from the mother's perspective, it is very clear that I am doing it for hitaya. It is for the good of the child. Please understand it that way. Or for that matter, any snack food or something from outside. Just taking an example, nothing specific on vada pav or misal pav. Don't catch the right thing. Don't go to the wrong part of the examples. Okay. So the option to just give something and ask him to eat is always there. That is madhyama adhikari. Not at all boss is adhama. But considering that person like one is uttama. Okay. And hence, with individuals understanding, there may be difference of opinion on which is appropriate. But if you look at it from a dharmic perspective, then you are also giving the freedom to that person from next time not to come with you. If you invite for having food, that person has that will and freedom to say, no, I will eat something. Suppose he doesn't like the taste what you have, fair enough. But you have completed your job. Then it is his choice. Okay. And exactly this has to be looked from karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu gadachana. If you are looking at that person's freedom, then it is phaleshu adhikaraste you are looking at, not karmani adhikaraste. You are looking at a phala and then you are trying to do something. Please understand, there is a big difference in these two things. Hopefully it is clear. Correct? And whatever karma I am doing, now that person is nimitta. It is for my chitta shuddhi. That attitude in me is what is I'm trying to look and hold on to, rather than how I'm actually expressing it. And that attitude has called, that is got that adrishta phala. Are we able to get this? And this is what brings to the second part of this niyata karma. First one is the karma itself. Okay. Now this karma, when you do, what is your attitude? Okay. It's a very, very important aspect. And every one of us can only see karma being done outside. A flavor of attitude is expressed probably in the way how the karma is done, or probably in some communication. But the actual attitude, only that person knows. Only that person knows. Someone can very nicely from outside, let me give you a simple example. Nowadays, in all this marriage functions and everything, there is a contract. For food, there is a contract. Everything, catering, the contract is given. Now, you will see normally these people will get young ladies, girls, to be there in that place who will try to something like an air hostess in a aircraft. They will try to see that you are comfortable. Are you getting some snack or this? Water is coming. Do you want anything? Do you want anything? And they will keep coming around again and again and asking. They are doing karma or not? What is the attitude? Think. They have real love to you or what? That they are coming and asking and no. The attitude is very clearly, this is my job. I just do it and finish it. In between, ठीक है यार. I have to have that sly smile on my face always. In that, you may also have exception. Someone would be loving this type of a service job, so who would be doing it? But 99% of the people are just doing it for udara nimittam bahukrita vesha. Udara nimittam we all do that only in our offices also. Please, let us not point fingers on others. We all do our work in office udara nimittam bahukrita vesham. Yes or no? So, this is what is called the attitude. What Krishna says is anything what you do, that attitude part is very important. Very, very important. The karma may be little up and down. Thoda, it is based on that person's ability, the skill, all those things will vary. But the attitude part is something which you can never come down on the level. And the attitude is very simple. Ishwara Arpana Buddhi. What is that attitude? Ishwara Arpana Buddhi. Okay. Which means what? Now here, when Krishna is talking about Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam, the reference point for Krishna is Arjuna sitting down and not fighting up. It is not our any other general activity, because the context is Bhagavad Gita, where it is in the war, in between the war. So he says Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam, so you have to do it with the right attitude, right? Now, and this word Niyatam is a command. You better do it. Okay. Now when you say better do it, let me somehow do it. Let me somehow finish it. And this is visible when people actually do karma. One example I gave you. Another example, someone does everything very nicely and after that says, oh, finally this got over. What does that mean? Everything is fine, even at home also. It's simple, just take one day's cooking. You are not that much of very enthusiastic. After, oh, I finished the cooking today. What does that mean? I somehow completed the cooking. I did everything. But that attitude part was not very motivating on that day, that I did it with my heart and with my mind and fully as Ishwara Arpana Buddhi. Correct? The same time, if you have done something which you felt fantastic just doing it, forget the result or anything, you just said, wow, what nicely, and the whole day you will be telling everyone, you know what I did? It was so nice, I did this. What was the attitude while doing that? Okay, so doing something wholeheartedly, and if you are going to do something for someone, let it be family, let it be boss, let it be any other thing, that motivation level will be there some days, will not be there some days. It will go up and down, that will be there. But the same thing, if you are going to do it with an attitude of Ishwara Arpana Buddhi, no, how can I reduce even an iota when I'm doing it for Ishwara? Okay, so karma being the same, the attitude makes a big difference. From outside, we can only see karma. The attitude is only individually that person knows what it is. And it will not come over time. Please understand. Yeah, sorry, it will not come instantaneously. That some days there is fantastic attitude, some days it is like, honeymoon effect. Initially, few days, very, very nice. After that, chalta hai, taken for granted. So, like that, any relationship will be like that only. That motivation will start coming down. Then there is a push needed. That is why, in between, as Swamiji will say, you have to go and give a rose, honey, how are you? That day, this day, you have to keep on motivating. Why? Then only that attitude will continue and karma will be there. Otherwise, karma will be there, attitude will not be there. Chalta hai, we are also living. Okay. So, for this attitude, a very, very clear concept is there how we have to look at attitude. Our idea of Ishvara is that Bhagavan which is there in that murti or in that photo or in that temple. Correct? When we are seeing it with that perspective, whenever we do some puja, maybe whenever we do something, a particular festival comes, you then yes, for doing it, it will be with a lot of motivation. Krishna says, extend that. Extend it. Means what? Whatever I see is vibhuti of Bhagavan. Everything around me is vibhuti of Bhagavan. And whenever there is vibhuti of Bhagavan, I will be with Arpana Buddhi only doing and accepting all that. Correct? So, because this going into Madhyama Shatkam, it will be Twampada, sorry, Tatpada Lakshyartaha. That is what. So, Ishvara and what is Ishvara will be told very clearly there. But here itself, he says that attitude, if you have it in the right way, because that why are we referring to such an attitude? It will come in the next shloka. That attitude part, why are we referring? Because this niyatam karma is injunction. Niyatam means do it. You like it, you don't like it, you have an attitude, you don't have an attitude, forget it, but you have to do it. It's a very harsh word Krishna uses here. Okay. But later on he mellows it down in the next shloka. That is why understanding why he is saying niyatam with the right karma and the right attitude is important. So nitya naimittika karma is niyata karma, which we have understood. But this attitude part, very, very clearly, is whatever I see around is Bhagavan. Is Bhagavad Srishti. It is Bhagavad Srishti and nothing else. Whatever. That means whatever I am doing is for Bhagavan. It is not for me. Or it is not for a person, or it is not for a particular situation. I am doing it for Bhagavan only. That Ishvara in everything, in everyone is what I am seeing. Okay. So what happens by that? By that, that yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushvam adarpanam. So, 9th chapter 27 shloka, he says, yat karoshi, whatever you are doing, whatever you are eating, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi, what puja or yajna, whatever you are doing, dadasi, danam, what you are giving, yat tapasyasi, what tapas you are doing, he kaunteya, tat kurushvam madarpanam, you are actually submitting it to me. Okay, so don't look at that face or things in front of you. Look at that Chaitanya Shakti behind that, and you're doing it for that. Okay. Same way we see whenever we are doing Kayena Vacha Manasa Indriyerva Buddhyatmanava Prakrite Swabhava Karomi Yad Yad Sakalam Parasmai. Kayena Yad Karomi, Vacha Yad Karomi, Manasa Yad Karomi, Indriyerva Yad Karomi. Correct? Kayena Vacha Manasendri Buddhya Yad Karomi, Atmanava Yad Karomi. प्रकृतेः यत् करोमि स्वभावात् यत् करोमि. ओके. प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै. परः, it is only for you. नारायणायेति समर्पयामि, कृष्णायेति समर्पयामि, शिवायेति समर्पयामि. Whomever you want to tell doesn't matter. Then how will wrong things come from? Kayena vacha manasa indriya. Are you able to get it? So this is where this attitude purification will happen. Initially it works like an injunction. See, like children, what we teach them first, you do it. They may oppose little. No, no, you have to do it. As children, you push them to do, because this is good for you. They don't understand anything. But the same child, after growing for about 20 years, they'll say, no, no, it is because of that I'm like this today. What happened? That push, niyatam, got converted to a positive attitude. Okay. So the niyatam is immature mind where you have to push. So called in inverted commas God fearing. A fear has to be bought in. And that is a dharmika, natural, very legitimate fear. There's nothing wrong in it. There has to be certain fear that, hey, there is a God. I'm answerable to my consciousness. That it is a very, very correct fear. Needs to be there. Otherwise, we will not have anything to bind us. We will not respect any boundaries. Please understand that. For that, it is a very, very positive fear which needs to be there. Okay. But once that is there, you can't till lifelong just be with this fear. And this is what is incorrect. Lifelong I'm going to be in fear when you say, that is very incorrect. Why? I've never matured. I've never grown. For everything I need to be pushed, then only. Then it is that learning or that growing up is of no meaning. So as we mature and grow, what happens? This becomes natural to us. Then it converts into a value. And once it converts into a value, our attitude towards that changes a lot. Are we able to get that? So initially, for anything and everyone, some set of rules, discipline, push is required. But slowly, when the person matures out, you don't need those boundaries, because they have already created their own boundaries. They have made up their mind that will be dharmika, and when it is dharmika, then the view is completely different. So, what we call it as, you are first bound by the government, bound legally, correct? And when you have legal binding and binding by the government, then there are rules and regulation, and you are pushed. Later on, that becomes moral binding. Once it is moral binding, then I don't need even anyone to watch it. I myself, I know that I will not. And even if for some reason I had to do something, I immediately do parihara for it. Sorry, 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 I made a mistake. I had no other option. I did it, but it's okay, I've understood it. That is, this moral policing will come, and this is what is that attitude. This is what is that attitude. Is it clear?
देखो ना उसमें वो ही नहीं आ रहा है वो
Okay. Then so Once we know this attitude and the karma, now let us go back to the shloka. What is the shloka telling? Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hi akarmanaha. Okay. So, akarmanaha karmajyayaha. Compared to not doing work. Akarmanaha, compared to not doing work, karmajyayaha. Doing karma is any day superior. This is very clearly a teaching given by Krishna to Arjuna at that point. Arjuna has put his bow down and he is sitting. That is why in so many places he says, Uttishta, get up, Kritakrityasya, go, fight the war. Tasmad Uttishta Kaunteya, Yuddhaya Krita Nishchaya. In between he will keep on pushing. Kabhi bhi utho bhai, utho. Aisa baithe mat raho. Okay, so in between the teaching, this will come at the last. Get up, wake up. Now again he says, not doing any activity, better than that is always doing some work. Okay, he says, Sharira yatra pichate, even for your basic living, you can't live without karma. If I have to live, I need to eat, I need to sleep, they are all karma. I need to take bath. Whatever you decide, akarmana is not an answer. Akarmana is not an answer. So this is a clear justification that Krishna has to get up and do the work. But now if you have to do this work, Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyeda karmanaha, but he says, so you have to get up and do the work. Now when you say you have to get up and do this work, it's an injunction. And when you give it as an injunction, it will be misunderstood. मैं कैसा भी खत्म करके जाऊं यहां से. Let me somehow finish it off. When we tell children, no, you have this, you have your breakfast and then go to play. What else the children do? Let me somehow finish it, or else I cannot go to play. फटाफट खत्म करके भागो. What is the attitude there? Play is the focus. For this is a big problem. It's a speed breaker. I have to somehow manage it. So the attitude will be manda attitude. Now, this statement when Krishna says he wants to first of all break that coconut very tough, saying that you have to work. That means there is no scope that you sit. Having said that, there will be a problem now. Okay. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hyakarmanaha. He justifies sharira yatra pichate na prasiddheti akarmanaha. You will never see akarmanaha in sharira yatra. You can even not live if you are going to have that attitude. Correct? That means just sit and give up the life. You are not going to do that. That is not possible. And you shouldn't do. It is Shastra Virodham. So get up and work. Now, having given a very, very strong danda, what is that? Totra Vetraika Panaye. Totra Vetraika Panaye, he has shown now in this that you will get a whip if you don't listen. Correct? Next, Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya is going to come in the next shloka. Why? He knows very clearly that any such for an adult, any person, forget adult, even for children, coercion, under force is not sustainable, is not workable. Our Shastra never permits that. And that is why you would have seen that whenever you ask questions to any elders who do not have an answer, their first answer will be, just do it, don't ask questions. We have been doing for so many years. We never asked our parents such questions. You will do it. After that, you will say, thank you very much. I did it, but I will not tell my children to do. It is not sustainable. And if that was our culture, if that was our way, today you would not have this at all. people would have rebelled and thrown it whenever possible, right? But the fact that it is even alive today says that that is not the right way. The right way is to give the logic that the person then does it by himself. The person has to buy it out, and it has to be told in a way that the person accepts it. Okay, Satyam Vada, Priyam Vada, Hitam Vada. It has to be told in the right way without changing, so that the person once accepts it, then it will be self motivated. Then the attitude is different. Okay, and even with children, coercion should not. Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda is the last. Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda is always the last. If we start with Danda, the child will be the first person to rebel and run out of the house. I don't want. And which is a natural thing, very natural. Why? We have been adharmika. We have not understood how to take care. Okay. So, considering that, Krishna immediately turns because he is standing in front of Arjuna. It will take a minute for Arjuna to take his sword and just chop off Krishna's head if required. Jada Maji Satakli, he will even do that. Nothing wrong in it. Because his state of mind is different. So Krishna has to tell him, because unless you do it, that dharmam chara emphasis will not be given. You have to do it. Now, why you have to do it? It's a very important aspect, and we always miss this in our life. Whatever you are supposed to do as a duty, you have to do it. You may like it, you may not like it. That is your call. That is your ragadvesha. If you like it, happily do it. If you don't like it, unhappily but do it. Okay. And this is where the teaching is, whatever is unhappy, that unhappy is coming because of my crystallized ahankara. And this is an opportunity to bring it down. So you consider it to be Bhagavan's ajna and do it. So automatically you will not fight it. You may not like it, but because it is Bhagavan's ajna, I will still aapke ajna sir aakho par. Okay. So either I like it, I do it. If I like it, I do it. I have no problem. Everything fits well. I don't like it. Still, I have to do it. Why? Niyata karma. Then, how do I convert it to a positive attitude? Bhagavan's ajna. The third option is I will not do it. Kamya karma adharmika, if you do, I'm now technically going to tell you, understand it. Kamya karma adharmically, if it is done, it becomes nishiddha karma. And nishiddha karma, if you are stopping it to remove the guilt, you have got pariharas or you have got prashchitta karma. Is it clear? Adharmika kamya karma, if you have done and if you want to clean up yourself, you have got prashchitta karma. Okay. This is called commission of adharmika karma and the problem faced by it, the guilt faced by it. Now you have another problem also. Omission of dharmika karma. We always talk about committing adharmika karma. We never talk about omission of niyata karma. There are certain duties which I have to do irrespective I like it or not. And if I do not do it, it's an omission. Are we able to get this? It's an omission. And when I omit something like that, I again, Deepa, please be on mute. Nipa, please be. Thank you. And if I omit something like that, this papam is called pratyavaya papam. Are we able to get this? When I commit something adharmika, I get a papam. For me to cleanse myself, I do prayashchitta karma. But for nitya naimittika karma, which I have to do it irrespective I like or I do not like, and if I do not do it, then omission of that is called pratyavaya papa. Okay, and this is what earlier I had mentioned in the first chapter. Arjuna not fighting the war is not doing Kshatriya dharma. Arjuna not fighting the war is not doing Kshatriya dharma. Correct? Not doing Kshatriya dharma is Pratyavaya Papa. Not fighting is Nishiddha karma. Are you getting this? Not fighting itself is a Nishiddha karma because he is supposed to fight. He is supposed to fight adharma, which he is not doing, is a Nishiddha karma. Running away from the battlefield, Nishiddha karma. Not fighting Pratyavaya Papam. So one action can give multifold issues from karma theory. Are you all able to get this? Correct? Not fighting Pratyavaya Papam, running away Nishiddha karma. Okay, so every time whenever we do something, we normally, our logical mind looks at Nishiddha karma and guilt. Our mind never considers omission of what I'm doing or not doing, and that particular thing will give me Pratyavaya Papa. For example, being a bywalker and a standby of any adharmic activity is also will bring Pratyavaya Papa. कोई गलत कर रहा है, at least I should try to voice it out in my capacity so that that person understands. I may not try to teach or tell, or at least make that person think, is this correct? That's all. ये ठीक है क्या? And there are so many ways you can do it. There are so many ways. Simple thing, you are standing on a, you're driving your vehicle, you are standing on a signal. Suddenly the signal starts. A person from extreme left crosses you and goes to the extreme right to take a turn. No, he has done something wrong. You can keep cribbing internally and no one will even listen to you because no one else is there to listen to you also. Nothing is going to happen. But when that person is going, he is going to see you because he knows what he is doing is wrong. He is going to see you. You have two options. कांच नीचे गिरा, क्या कर रहे हो? What is it? In that, you have already attracted papam. Okay, I don't want papam, so I keep quiet. Keeping quiet is pratyavaya papam. Okay, now you have a problem between the fire and the क्या बोलते हैं, fire and the frying pan. कौन सा ठीक है? तुम इधर गया तो भी पापम, इधर किया तो भी पापम. Then what to do? Don't tell anything. Only tell that person namaskara when he sees you. Will not he understand? He is an intelligent person. That is why he did this. Knowingly he has done. Dhanyavad, and go. So you have expressed your part of making that person aware that what he is doing is wrong, but at the same time, you have not changed your. You have a chance to speak to that person. Why are you doing it? That is all separate. But at least somewhere you can show something. Somewhere we have to express. Don't bother what that person is going to behave. It doesn't matter, because accepting and keeping quiet at adharma is a pratyavaya papam. Not that you will be able to say every time, you will be heard every time, but an effort from your end should, a deliberation should be there. How effective it is, forget all that. But at least a deliberation should be there, so that inner consciousness is very clear. I have tried mine with the limited whatever possible. I didn't just accept it flatly, this adharma. Doesn't make sense. Okay. So pratyavaya papam is something which normally we completely ignore, because we are always looking at consciously wrong things what you have done. But omission of the right things are equally important, and focus on that. That will give a good amount of inner strength, inner conviction. Inner conviction. Out of 100 people, if one person also changes, isn't it a great thing you have done? Will not it boost your confidence? Oh, I did something right. I made my day today. And that is necessary. But that pratyavaya papam should not be focused always on people, others. It is more to be focused on ourselves. Did I do this? Did I not do this? How did I miss this out? I should not have missed it out. Okay, right? But you cannot change the past. So always take it from today and future. Sensitivity is more required, and this is what Karma Yoga brings. Karma Yoga makes you extremely sensitive to yourself and the situation. Extremely sensitive. If something starts in your mind, you know very clearly, चालू हो गया अभी इसका नाटक अंदर चालू हो गया. I know it now. Earlier you used to say that is my nature. Now you will say नहीं नहीं अभी अंदर से चालू हो गया ये भूत. अभी इसको चुपचाप करेगा कराएगा तो ही ठीक है. Otherwise it will become in a big way. You know how to be sensitive to yourself. You know how to be sensitive to the situation. And this is what Karma Yoga makes you extremely sensitive and alert. Very alert. Is it clear? So the right action, the right attitude, omission of adharmika activity, correct? Omission of dharmika activity, commission of adharmika activity, omission of dharmika activity, both should be sensitive. Committing adharmika, reduce it, very clear. But omitting dharmika, which is called niyata karma, we have to become sensitive. Then it becomes holistic. And once this attitude and the karma comes, we will start becoming more and more sensitive. Karma yoga will become, and then that mind will be relaxed. Why all this? Finally, why is all this? Otherwise, when you sit after this and close your eyes for upasana, for dhyana, all these things will only keep coming. यही कचरा आते रहेगा. तो उसको बाहर ही साफ करके, then when you sit for dhyana, the slate is clean. Okay, that guilt will not be there. I did not do this, I did, कुछ नहीं रहेगा. भाई वही टाइम पे मैंने खत्म कर दिया वो. No carry forward. Just do it, keep moving. Is it clear? Okay. So with this, we will see the next shloka, where Krishna now clearly understands that this particular word niyatam is too harsh and is not a sustainable one. So I need to tell it to Arjuna in a way that Arjuna understands it clearly, and then brings up, he himself feels there is a value in it. Correct? So what does he say? Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. Yajnarthat karmanaha अन्यत्र लोकः अयम कर्मबंधनः तत् अर्थम कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसंगः समाचर. I will repeat again. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणः अन्यत्र लोकः अयं कर्मबन्धनः तत् अर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसंगः समाचर. Okay, we have seen the pada of it. Now what is अन्वय? यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणः अन्यत्र अयं लोकः कर्मबन्धनः. यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणः अन्यत्र अयं लोकः कर्मबन्धनः. हे कौन्तेय मुक्तसंगः तदर्थं कर्म समाचर. हे कौन्तेय मुक्तसंगः तदर्थं कर्म samachara. Such a beautiful way Krishna has told this. Says yajnarthat, yajna arthat. Arthat means for the purpose of. Okay. Or yajnarthat means that activity from the yajna what you get. Okay. Karmanaha. So those activities, those action, those attitude by which a yajna can be fulfilled. Okay. If anyatra, apart from that, that activity by which a yajna can be fulfilled, apart from that, any other activity, anyatra, what it does? Ayam lokaha karma bandhanaha. It will bind people. That karma will only bind people. थोड़ा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा बोला है. I will explain to you. It is a very simple one, but very nicely put. हे कौन्तेय, हे कुंती का बेटे, मुक्त संगः. Do not have affiliations and associations. Tad artham. With that attitude, karma samachara. Do your duty to the best of your ability. Now, in this particular one, he is not talking about karma. He is talking about attitude. He is not talking about karma. He is talking about attitude here. What he says is, first of all, we have to understand that word yajna. What is yajna? When we say yajna, our normal meaning is few people sitting around the fire. स्वाहा स्वाहा स्वाहा, ये डालो वो डालो, पूर्णाहुति हो गया, यज्ञ खत्म. Some fire ritual. Yes, that is one meaning of yajna. Yajna means puja. Yajna has got many meanings. Okay. With material, when you do, it is a different yajna. Without material also you can do yajna. It comes. द्रव्य यज्ञास्तपो यज्ञा ज्ञान यज्ञास्तथा परे स्वाध्याय ज्ञान यज्ञाश्च यतयः संशति व्रताः. Fourth chapter it will come. द्रव्य यज्ञाः, तपो यज्ञाः, ध्यान यज्ञः, स्वाध्याय यज्ञः, ज्ञान यज्ञः. Okay, so yajna means, it's a very simple way, sinking differences among people. When people come together collectively for a common goal and do certain activity with the right attitude of submission, that common benefit which comes out is called yajna karma phala. Sinking individual differences, when people come together towards a common goal for maximum benefit of many and partake that benefit with everyone, that is called a yajna. In short, today this word called trust, trust. There are so many trust, correct? This trust, that trust. Apart from trust, everything is there in that. Only for the namesake, that word called trust is there. This trust, that trust. Inside, if you see, everyone have got their own agendas in that trust. One person will have some agenda, another will have some agenda. The overall objectives of the trust is gone for a six. Andar jagda, then you go to courts. So that is not yajna. Okay. So a proper yajna is very clearly, let us go even to the fire yajna. There also what you need, yajna is never done for one person's benefit. Yajna is always, that is called a homa. Whatever I do it at home, or I think this word home also has come from homa, in a small way. Yajna means it is to humanity, it is for the whole people, it is for the animals, it is for nature, everyone around. It has got a much bigger purpose. The protocols will be different for different yajna. So you will have an altar, you will have people around it, you will have a lot of SOPs for it. Then you do it. There is a purpose. There is a sankalpa taken. There is a yajamana for a yajna. Panktam is required. Now some technical about yajna if you want. For a yajna, there is something called pankta. Pankta means five things. These are a must. Without that, yajna cannot be done. Yajamana, patni, putraha, daivavit, manusyavit. There has to be a person who is doing the yajna, yajamana, then his wife, then children, or patni, putraha, the way it is told. Then daivavit, knowledge about the shastras and why that person is doing and what he wants to achieve. He should be very clear about it. And for all this, manusyavit, which is called money, resources, are very much required. There'll be dana, there'll be annadana, there'll be dharma, there'll be so many things, so many pandits, purohits will be there, items will be there, yajna shala will be there, people will come there. So there has to be sponsors, otherwise it will not work. Okay, and all these are yajnas, big, big yajnas. And I'm telling you, when sometimes yajnas are planned, there won't be resources at all. I have seen certain yajnas where there is no resources, absolutely barren, nothing available with them. But such yajnas, you hardly see it. From somewhere or the other, people will come, okay, I sponsor this, yeah, sub, okay, everything, it will go into excess. Thoda bhi kami nahi rahega. And that only says when the right attitude of people are there, everything works perfectly. And this is what he is going to tell later on. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyah paramavapsyata Ishtan bhogan hi vo devah dasyante yajna bhavitah. That word very clearly. Now all these are going to be related to yajna. Couple of shlokas are going to be related to yajna. Why? Because yajna is the true way of karma yoga. So it has the right activity because beneficiaries are maximum. It has the right attitude because people, whoever in that, will sink their differences, come together, work for a common goal. उधर राजा भी कोई नहीं, रंक भी कोई नहीं, सब साथ में आके all will do what they can for that same direction and then it works. Okay. How did the medical professional work with the COVID times? Yajna. Okay. When the initially late, forget that money making part is a side thing. But initially, when no one knew anything, everyone worked. Okay, we have to just take care, do this, do this, do this. I think whatever said and done, we have remarkably managed the situation compared to any other country in the world. So that attitude is what worked there. Okay. Otherwise, a small road doesn't get repaired for years together here. And suddenly you see in such a short period of time vaccines coming out, that coming out. And so it's a yajna spirit. It's a yajna spirit. Clear? Whenever there is a problem in any of the place, you will see suddenly everyone focusing. Simple, just look at some problem in the house. Every day everyone will keep fighting with each other. But if there is an issue in the house, someone is not well or something, how everyone aligns, no, I will go this time in the morning to the hospital, you go at this time, I will manage the food. That is a yajna spirit. Everyone aligning, sinking their difference, focusing at a particular direction, then seeing that the end, what you want to achieve, is very clear in the mind, and everything to be aligned with that. That is that yajna spirit. Okay. So he says, yajnarthat karmanaha. All the activities which are like that of the yajna or with yajna spirit. That means what? All the activities which are tatpurushva madarpanam. Madarpanam, whatever activities where you are completely submitting to me and doing your best and leaving the rest, they become yajnarthat karmanaha. Is it clear? Sinking your individual differences and doing it. Okay. Now, why such a thing is told? In our culture, anything what we see around us, we value it as divinity, divine. There cannot be anything in this world where we are saying that this is bad, this is useless, no, should not be there. No. In everything we see divinity. In everything. Prithivyapastejo Vayurakasha, divinity. In Prithvi, divinity. That is why Dharti Ma we call. Correct? And there are so many suktas and so many things related where divinity is there. When we get up in the morning, Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, Karamadye tu Saraswati, Karaprishthe tu Govinda, Prabhate Karadarshanam, Samudra Vasane Devi, Parvatasthana Mandale, Vishnupatni Namastubhyam, Padasparsham, Kshamaswami. What does that mean? Samudra Vasane Devi, that Bhumi Devi, Bhuma Devi, Samudra Vasane, Parvatasthana Mandale. You have Samudra also, you have Parvata also. Vishnu Patni, your Vishnu's Patni. Namaskara I do to you. Namastubhyam. But what can I do? I have to place my foot on you. Padasparsham Kshamaswami. I am placing my leg on you because without that I cannot. That is the way Srishti is. So you have to be below my feet. I can't do anything. But that doesn't mean I do not respect you. I respect you the most. That is the attitude. And you still continue to walk. That doesn't stop you walking, correct? So, Prithvi, let it be apaha. Apo va idagam sarvam vishwa bhutanyavaha. Prana va apaha. Pashava apaha. Annamapaha. Amritamapaha. Samradapaha. Viradapaha. Swaradapaha. Chandagasyapaha. Jyotigasyapaha. Yajugasyapaha. Satyamapaha. Sarva devata apaha. Bhurbhuvassubarapa om. Water. Bhagavan, apo vai sarva devata devata evarabhya praniyah pracharati apah pranayati. So that attitude of divinity with water. Tejaha, fire. Agnimi ile purohitam yajnasya deva mritvijam. The Rigveda first word starts with Agni. Okay. Samaveda starts with Agna aya hi vitaye granano havyatataye nihota satsi barihishi Agni. Atharvana Veda Shanno Devi Rabishtaya Apo Bhavantu Pitaye Shayyo Rabhisravantu Naha. That Agni is not being mentioned. But what I am saying is Agni is Jata Vedas. Very, very divine. All this Yajna we are referring to Agni only then. Correct? And then Akasha, Vayuhu. Akasha, everything is divine for us. Okay. And once you see divinity in everything, Vanaspatishu, Oshadishu, mountains, seas, everything is divine. The whole Rudra Prashna is looking at divinity in the nature. So many things have come. Okay. Namo Hiranyabahave se Nanye Dishanchapataye Namaha. Dishanchapataye Namaha. Space has come here. Dishampati. Namo Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhyah Pashunam Pataye Namaha. Vrikshebhyah Harikeshebhyah. All the trees. Namas Saspinjaraya. Saspinjara means what? Foliage. जो नया पान आता है ना, fresh green, that is called saspinjara. Namas saspinjara yatvishi mate pathinam pataye namaha. So beautiful. Here you are not looking at one Shiva here. Anything around, I see only Shiva. Rudra. Apatala nabhastalanta bhuvanam bhufpado yasya nabhihi Viyatasura Nilash Chandra Suryo Chanetre. Vishnu Sahasranam. Sri Rudram. In everything you see that Brahmanda completely as divine. Everything. So there is nothing which, let it be rivers, Gange Chayamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannitin Kuru. Let it be trees, let it be animals. Animals are gods. Snake you pray to, tortoise you pray to, mushika you pray to. So all the animals. Okay. Why? There is nothing which is not got that divinity. Everything, including a stone. Okay. Ashma cha me, Mrittika cha me, Girayash cha me, Parvatash cha me, Sikatash cha me. They are all divine. I need all of them. So divinity is seen everywhere. And when you see everything with divinity, people with divinity, insentient, sentient, animals, everything with divinity, automatically when you do it, you will never think ill about them. Okay? Let us even stop thinking, how can I protect this? We are far too small to even think, how can I protect this? It is because of them we are alive. How can I protect this is an absolutely stupid thought. Then what should the thought be? How I should not destroy it. Pade pade in all my activities, I'm only destroying them. Can I reduce this destruction? You don't have to protect. They are very much capable of protecting themselves. Then what do we do? Efficiently destroy them. Knowingly we destroy them. Can we stop that? Can we become sensitive to that? Okay. Why I'm saying is yajna means all these things, huh? Yajna is not just swaha swaha. So when we are, you know, one small incident I'm giving you. There is a class where we are learning to chant the Samhitas. It is taught by a very aged person who is 87 years, a very, very learned person. And that is properly managed by a particular association, and they have a particular way of doing it. Now, this is by Zoom. Now, what are you learning? The Shastras. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? 100% a good thing. Is it dharmic or adharmic? 100% dharmic. Correct? Some person forwards this Zoom link to someone else, and there are another 10 people who have just come in. Why? They also want to learn, which is a good thing, perfectly good thing. But how should it be? They have to go, because someone who has forwarded will also know where is the contact, right? First of all, the person who is forwarding should not have done that, because it is beyond his responsibility to do all that. When he forwards it, it is adharma. The people who have joined that through this without checking or without taking a permission, although no one stops, is it dharmika or adharmika? Adharmika. Now, on an adharmika platform, what are you learning? Shastra, which is dharma. Will it work? You will learn and you will become expert in chanting, but the attitude will not be proper. Yes or no? So, this yajna, when we say, we may not be able to protect, but don't at least mess it up. Never mess it up. And we are doing enough to mess it. If you look at it, we cannot be living in any of these facility what we are doing, including the Zoom. We are messing it up. If we have to be in that way, then we can't. Simple logic is one thing. Anything removed out of its environment, you have abused it. Fire removed out of its environment, you have abused it. Water removed out of its environment, you have abused it. Think, earth removed out of its environment, you have abused it. What are we talking of preserving? Let us stop abusing it. It has its capability to preserve itself such a big way which we can't even imagine. See, when we say abusing, please understand what it means. Rewind yourself to 200 years back. I'm not saying that we should not become scientific, we should not have growth. But the other part of that is not, we never imagined that. And that mind is so short lived. That mind of ours is so small, very small, that our vision is so small that we just do not know what is the implication of it later on. We can easily rewind ourselves to 200 years back. Were there taps? Were there water in the tap? Were there wells? 200 years back, wells were there. In every house, there used to be a well. Now, if there was a well, and imagine that all these people of this Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all those Indus Valley, and all these people, if we agree that they could make a Pushpaka Vimana, or they could make wonders of the world, and if they could do great, great things, they could not even think of making a small motor and pipe to remove water from that well into everyone's house. They didn't have that much knowledge. They didn't have that intelligence. Each of these astras, what they are talking, is like a nuclear bomb. ये पानी निकाल के घर पे आके that lady is troubled every day. Looking at that also, they did not feel pity that they have to do something. They didn't do it. So what did they do? Water source is there. You go to the water source. You utilize the water so that you will not misuse it. And then later on, someone invents electricity. Someone invents a motor. Someone invents a pump. And very nicely, this water from the source is moved out. Correct? That water from the source, if it is moved out, it gave me convenience. Now I don't have to go to the water has come to me. Yes or no? Like you don't have to come to the class has come to you. Yes or no? Correct. With that, what happened? There are many who would be also having sipping coffee and listening. That is also possible. Same way, if there is a use, there will be a misuse. So the water, we do not value it now because it is easily available. I don't have to put effort to get it. That means when I take bath, this used water, when I go to the toilet, this used water, I have to find a way to manage it. All that came because of what? I removed the water from its environment. I bought the water out of the environment. Now to manage that water, I have to create the next. That means no pollution. That means complete system, drainage system. See how one is leading to the other. Now that means imbalance of it. Correct? So for human beings, their convenience, we move this Pancha Mahabhutas out of their system. To such an extent that this water is now bottled, packed, and sold. Anywhere in the animal kingdom have you seen anyone storing water? I'm not saying we should not progress. Progressing at what cost? Because now you can't, it has come to a level that you can't reverse it now. If anyone thinks can we reverse this, tell me. Then what can you do? You can only reduce the problem which is there. I cannot eradicate the problem. Why? It is a problem which I have created. It was not there. Agni was never easily available. That is why people used to manage Agni. In every house there used to be Agni. Today, with a strike of a matchstick or a lighter, that Agni is there. And you don't want Agni also. You have induction. You have microwaves. You don't need Agni. The splinter is not required also. But do we know what are the impacts of all that? We are yet to see a lot. So for our convenience, whatever is done, our knowledge and seeing that it doesn't badly impact is so short-lived. That is why many of these which have already been proved that this is the best way are challenged again. Is it the best way today? or is it creating certain problems? Look at scientific things. Suddenly, cholesterol was very bad. Now they say cholesterol need not be the issue for heart problems. It could be one, but that need not be the sole thing. The whole pharma industry, which is supposed to be a noble one, is completely moved based on money. Everything is where there is more money making. That's what that industry is. That industry never wants any person to be healthy. Think who created this? We created. In animals, it is there. Does the animal go and say, "Oh, my blood pressure is high today, my diabetes is high today"? I'm not saying we need to live like animals, but at the same time, going to the other extreme, that 80 to 120 is like niyatam given by God for blood pressure. If it is 79 or 121, then sometimes people get so disturbed. My God, that actually brings a lot of stress. These reports, I'm telling you, just imagine that if whatever was there inside other persons, it will be visible to us like X-ray. Oh, there is an issue here, there is an issue here. You would not be able to just see anyone. Thank God that we are all covered with a skin and no one knows what is there inside. That is Bhagavan's Maya. It is all working by itself. उधर भी जाके we are now trying to do all the काड़ी करने को देख रहे हैं. To what level? That is why the Shastra says, Kardamena praja bhuta mayi sambhava kardama shriyam vasaya me kule mataram padma malini. Kardamena praja bhuta. Kardama means Brahmaji. Brahmaji, after making praja, he did srishti of everything, and last he came to something, one of his best so-called creation is human being. Kardamena prajabhuta. Then he says, Mayi sambhava kardama. In me, the ability to generate now rest. So when Brahmaji retired from his post, Brahmaji is already retired. After making this human being, he said, "No, I am retiring. My job is over of creation." So he gave a gift to this human being, saying that you are the most wonderful thing which I have created. So you all need to have a gift. Others, I'm not bothered. But you are my best creation. So one gift for you. What? Now you have the ability to create. My abilities of creation, now I transfer it to you. After that, what you create, you will enjoy. If you create the world, what you have, you enjoy it. So it is in your hand. And see what we have created in this last 500 years. Today's children, many of them do not know that rice comes from plants. They feel rice comes from the shop or the machine. So much away from reality. How many children have seen stars? Probably seen stars only when they get a slap. That also not allowed. There'll be many activists coming saying that you cannot do that. कुछ देखते ही नहीं है. We are totally cut off as some totally different, and now to naya. We are all boxed in one thing. That is life. If my cell phone is not there, I don't exist. I don't exist. Think. What is going to happen to these fingers now? Something is going to come now for using it, because overuse of these fingers now. You'll never get arthritis with these fingers with mobile. Continuously activity. So we have cut off ourselves from that reality. And Krishna says, Yajnarthat, being in this environment which is created by Ishvara Srishti, When you see that Ishvara and do things for benefit, that means I only contribute. The very in this yajna spirit is something which we need to understand clearly. Whenever we have this idea of responsibility and duty, we will never ask for rights. Think, whenever you're into a mode of giving, let me do my best, you will never ask what is due to me. And when you're not at all into giving, first will come right. Tell me if I do this, what I will get. That is why more court cases. The whole Bharatiya culture, Sanatana Dharma, is on contribution and not on consumerism. We are in a total different world today. Our Shastra tells something, our reality of living in the world is totally different. Shastra says contribute. Every 20 seconds, the ad says be a consumer. Every company is working to find out what this something called consumer wants. Consumer behavior, consumer attitude, consumer. Hey. And Shastra says don't be a consumer, be a contributor. Are we able to get this dichotomy, a totally two different perspective? Now I have to be a consumer. At the same time, I don't want to leave the Shastra. तो बीच में tug of war में हम बैठे. Are we able to get this? We have to understand our situation. The reality, what we call in front of us, that world, is not at all talking about contribution, is only talking about consumerism. How do I consume? And the Shastra says, when you contribute the maximum, others contribute will make you a consumer without you knowing. You will only consume that what you need because others have contributed. Correct? Here there is no word for contribution in our society today. Just consume, and everything is a value. In our system, there was nothing called a value for any of these things. You just do it because you value not the material, you value everything else as Bhagavan. People as Bhagavan. That is why you contribute. The day this credit debit balance is going to be talked between parents and children, I gave this what you gave, you gave this what I gave, you will see where it will lead to. To that extent, at least in our country, that equations are not still talked to a great extent. Little deviating, but we have to make you understand what is a yajna spirit. We have to see it in this way. What is my contribution? And when I contribute, and to contribute only, we had that Varna Ashrama system. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya used to contribute to the society and at the same time could consume some portion of it. Their main focus was contribute. Today, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, including the so-called Brahmana, is more into consuming how much I can do less and enjoy more. Work less, my pay should keep on increasing. If you are going to pay me without my work, you are the best company. Look at this puja, pandits and everything. They have also become thoroughly commercialized. There is nothing called contribution. If that dharma, people who have to hold the dharma are of that attitude, now it is not what they are doing, the attitude is this. See the way it is going. And that is why many of our people, we want to learn it so that we are trying to hold some of these values with us. We try to not to further decay it, protect it by preserving it more. Correct? And that is what is the idea which is there. Why so many people want all these things? Because कुछ तो गलत हो रहा है. We are not able to even comprehend where we are in this. एक जगह से खिंचाव इतना आ रहा है. I do not know what is right and wrong. If I go there, I feel something is wrong. This side I cannot be also. There is nothing called this side. Reclamation of the sea. Bandra reclamation, that reclamation, one day sea itself will not be there. सब reclaim करके ले लिया. Burj Khalifa, reclaim. Never ending ना. सहस्र नाम अर्चना रहेगा तो भी कम गिरता है. कोटि अर्चना करेगा तो भी अपना कंज्यूमरिज्म में कम है. कंट्रीब्यूशन में कितना लोग हैं? गिन के 5 नाम नहीं आएगा. How many are contributing? Which is visible that, oh, this person is contributing. Huh? Okay, so it is very, very important that we have this contributing attitude and not asking what is it for me. Why? You will be the biggest beneficiary on that. Please understand, contributing attitude, others, contribution. Others will benefit only with material. You will benefit with chitta shuddhi. Two different planes. Huh? The material planes, others are going to benefit, but you are benefiting with chitta shuddhi, which they will not get. Are you able to get this? And this is what Krishna is telling. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra. One who is into a contributing attitude type and does karma. Other than that, anyatra, if someone does karma, it is karma bandhanaha. People will get bonded to that karma. So which means yajna karma or contributory karma are the only karma where you cannot get bound to, but chitta shuddhi will happen. All the other karma which is non-yajna related type of attitude, which means consumerism, is very clearly going to be ayajna. What it does? Karma bandhanaha. How does it do bandhanaha? Which we have seen. 3 bandhanas will come. What are the bandhana? Atriptikaratvam, dukkha mishritatvam, and third one is bandhakatvam. That is the bandhana. But yajna karmas, or again, yajna, don't mistake it to be rituals. Right attitude, maximum contribution, maximum beneficiaries, samabhava, that thing is going to only give you a lot of internal cleanliness, chitta shuddhi. Otherwise, you will be into consumerism. Yajnarthat cooperative endeavor. Yajnarthat karmani cooperative endeavor for contribution. Anyatra consumerism. Karma bandhanaha. Consumerism will bring you to karma bandhana, which is opposite of cooperative endeavor contribution. समझ में आ रहा है? Correct? Lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Ayam lokaha. Whoever does that, karma bandhanaha. Tadartham. Hence, my dear Arjuna, considering this, hey Kaunteya, Kunti ka bete, karma kuru. How to do that karma? Mukta sangaha. Without attachment, without affiliation. He is Drona, he is my teacher, he is Bhishma, he is my grandfather. Don't have that attachment. Mukta sangaha. Do your duty which is going to benefit maximum people. If you do not uphold the dharma, then what will happen to so many millions of people? Hence, you have to fight. It is a dharma, it is a dharmic war. You have to fight. You may like it, you may not like it. Niyatam kuru, yajnarthat karma. Do it like a yajna. कायेन वाचा मनसा इंद्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै कृष्णाय समर्पयामि. Leave the and start fighting. Uttishta, go and fight. Are you able to get this? How nicely is bringing that concept out of karma yoga. First he said you have to do it. You may like it or not like. After that he justifies why you should do it. It is yajna karma. Okay. And here you have to sink your difference. If so many people have come together with the Pandavas, forming so many allies, and they are all depending on you, and you say, I am not going to fight. What anyaya it is, what an injustice it is. Okay. And you are a protector. You are not a manager, but you are a damager now. So become a manager, not a damager. Contribute collectively. That is why, especially people who have got teams in their office, who have got teams who are working with them, do that cooperative endeavor. Don't take only I did it. When the whole team does it, you take the name. What is it called? In yoga, this example is given. What is it called? Asteya. And this is what exactly Krishna says. One who takes that share and goes, Stena eva saha, he will tell. He will call Stena eva saha. Shamelessly, you are that thief who is taking that big share and going. When so many people have put effort and you take the name and go, you are a biggest chore. Patanjali says, be Asteya. Same thing. No two different things. Both are talking of values only, the right attitude, the right values. Nurture that. Is it clear? Okay. So, yajnartat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangas samacharaha. And from here, he will now move to a different level where he is going to talk about yajna itself. Now, if today we have examples of mobile, internet, we give that example. Whatever was available at that time, which the person knows, only those examples are given. Arjuna was there in that yuga, Dwapara yuga, where yajnas were there. He understood what yajna was. The moment you say yajna, he understands that this is cooperative endeavor. You have to sing the differences. All these are known. It need not be explained. Today we have to explain it to everyone. But at that time it was known. Same way at that time, if you go and say Wi-Fi, you have to explain to Arjuna what is Wi-Fi or a mobile. But to smallest of the child, you don't have to explain what is Wi-Fi and mobile in this yuga. Correct? So yugaantara difference will be there. So this yajna being told, yajna was an apt example, and hence many of these are going to be with yajna, taking that as an example because it is a cooperative endeavor and the attitude is maximum beneficiaries. I may benefit, I may not benefit, doesn't mind, but I am going to be a contributor, very active contributor for many people to benefit. And hence it is Satvikam karma, it is no akarma, and that karma will not give karma bandhana. Is it clear? With this, we will continue with the next shloka, which is सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वं येषवोस्त्विष्टकामधुक्. And the meaning of this I have already given to you in this. It is the same from the Shruti. Kardamena praja bhuta mayi sambhava kardama. You know, parting gift. I told Brahmaji gave a parting gift. सह यज्ञाः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्. You all know generate. Ishtakamaduk, what you want. And what you want, you enjoy it. If you want coal petroleum, you enjoy the plastic. You enjoy the minerals also. You create, you enjoy, you only die with it. I am out of it. Why? I have given power of attorney. The transfer rights have been passed to you. It's high time we pass it back to Brahmaji now. Please come and take care. Some few tsunamis and something, then only some cleanup will happen. Otherwise, humanly, it is not possible. On one end, you have a Russia, Ukraine fighting for what God knows. चल रहा है, चल रहा है. Anyway, चलो, there is no end to all this. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Dhanyavadaha.